The edge of Dominion space stretched endlessly, a glittering curtain of warships, patrol drones, and sensor arrays. To any other species, it would have been intimidating, an impregnable wall of military might. To humanity, it was simply the beginning. Admiral Cale Doran stood on the bridge of Vigilant, Titan-class dreadnought, observing the Dominion perimeter with quiet certainty. Around him, human officers moved with practiced precision. There was no fear in their eyes, only focus and an unshakable calm. Edge scanners report minimal resistance so far, Lieutenant Jaron Holt said, voice taut with anticipation. They're alert, but they haven't taken aggressive measures yet. Cale's lips curved into a faint smile. They're watching us, thinking we'll hesitate. That's their first mistake. The Dominion had spent decades enforcing boundaries, dictating the movements of every species within their controlled space. Warnings, patrols, checkpoints, rules meant to keep the galaxy in line. Humanity had received their warning, and humanity had smiled at it. Deploy stealth drones, Cale ordered. Scan the forward approaches, map all vectors. I want every patrol, every minefield, every hidden station logged before we cross. The bridge hummed with energy as engineers sent hundreds of AI swarms out like a school of metallic fish. Each drone moved silently, invisible to Dominion sensors. Data streamed back in real time, painting a full picture of the heavily fortified frontier. Then the first Dominion vessels appeared on the horizon. Sleek, angular cruisers bristling with weapons, their sensors scanning aggressively. A warning pulse rippled across the Dominion comms network. Unknown vessel detected. Identify immediately. Cale leaned forward. Let them see us, he said. No shields, standard formation. Show them we're not afraid. That's all they need to know for now. The Dominion fleet tensed. Officers barked orders. Cannons swiveled toward the human ships. And yet the humans did not flinch. They advanced steadily, engines quiet, weapons silent but ready. Every move precise, deliberate, and calm. A young Dominion captain, pride swelling, sent the first message. Halt your approach or be destroyed. Admiral Cale's voice carried over comms, calm and unwavering. We are not halting. We are here to observe, not to provoke. Step aside, or humanity will continue. There was a pause. A flicker of doubt. The Dominion fleet, confident in their superiority, hesitated. And that hesitation was enough. Without warning, humans executed their first maneuver. Vigilant split from the main formation, sliding along an uncharted vector previously mapped by drones. Railgun batteries targeted Dominion sensor nodes with surgical precision, disabling communications without opening fire on crewed sections. Patrol ships veered into ambush zones, intercepted by invisible strike craft. The Dominion fleet, which had expected a straightforward confrontation, now found itself disoriented, blocked at every path, unable to predict human movement. Cale's gaze remained steady on the holomap. This is what we do, he said softly. We do not rush blindly. We do not act recklessly. We anticipate, we calculate, and we strike only when the time is ours. Across Dominion channels, panic quietly spread. What kind of species approached with such audacity, such calm, such terrifying precision? The answer was becoming clear. Humanity did not fear them. Humanity did not negotiate. Humanity did not hesitate. And the Dominion, for the first time, realized the truth. Crossing into their space was not a mistake. It was a warning they would never forget. The Dominion believed they had eyes everywhere. Sensors, spies, deep space listening posts. They trusted their network to reveal every movement. But humanity had already rewritten the rules. From hidden positions among asteroid belts and uncharted moons, human drones scanned, mapped, and analyzed Dominion patrol patterns. Every warp corridor, every response time, every blind spot was catalogued with ruthless precision. Humans moved like shadows, unseen, but always watching, always calculating. Lieutenant Jaron Holt hovered over the holomap aboard Vigilant, tracing the projected paths of Dominion scout fleet. "They think they can ambush us," he said, a hint of awe in his voice. "But we've already been everywhere they'll look." Admiral Cale Doran did not look up. "Let them think it. Let them waste resources chasing shadows. Every patrol they scramble, every sensor they activate, we've already accounted for it." The first encounter came quietly, almost imperceptibly. A Dominion reconnaissance cruiser ventured too close to a hidden asteroid cluster, expecting no resistance. Within moments, a swarm of human AI drones, silent, metallic, and lethal, emerged from the shadows. They disabled engines, disrupted communications, and vanished before the Dominion crew could mount a proper response. "Report," Cale demanded. "Zero casualties on our side," Lieutenant Holt replied. "The cruiser is drifting powerless. The crew is safe, trapped in the vacuum until we decide their fate." Cale nodded. "Leave them. Let them know the Dominion is not omnipotent." Across Dominion space, whispers spread. Officers reported missing ships, unexplained system failures, and anomalies that defied their understanding. Confidence, once absolute, began to fracture. Dominion intelligence had underestimated the humans. They had assumed recklessness. They had assumed fear. Humanity had neither. On the surface of a mining colony near the frontier, civilians watched strange patterns of lights flare across the sky. Humans were active, yes, but nothing overt. No destruction, no chaos. Yet the Dominion patrols sent to investigate vanished without a trace. The colonists murmured, unsure if they had witnessed an attack or a miracle. Back aboard Vigilant, Cale studied the Dominion fleet's sensor patterns. "They believe they're hunting shadows," he said quietly. "They do not realize the shadows are us." A sudden alert blinked on the console. A Dominion communications relay, hidden behind an asteroid, attempting to broadcast distress signals. "Intercept," Cale ordered. "But do not destroy. Let them hear and feel the futility." The human operators synchronized the relay's signal with a subtle modulation in orbital drones. Dominion officers listening carefully heard only static, and beneath it, the faintest trace of calculated, mechanical signals. Every ship, every crew, every patrol was being tracked, catalogued, and neutralized if necessary. Lieutenant Holt shook his head. "They'll never understand. They'll think this is some kind of omnipotent entity. A species that sees everything, knows everything." Cale's gaze hardened. "Let them think that. Let them fear it. We are not here to negotiate. We are here to prove a point. Earth does not step lightly, but when it moves, nothing can stop it." The Dominion fleet faltered in its own command network, confusion spreading like wildfire. Miscommunications, delayed orders, and misfired weapons all highlighted one terrifying truth: humanity was no ordinary opponent. And as the sun of a distant system glinted across the hulls of human dreadnoughts, calm, unflinching, the Dominion finally understood the first real lesson of this invasion. Humanity sees all. Humanity waits. And humanity strikes only when the time is theirs. The void trembled with the arrival of the Dominion's main fleet. Sleek warships bristling with turrets and energy cannons formed a crescent of menace, surrounding the human advance. Dominion admirals, confident in their superior numbers and firepower, expected a straightforward engagement. They would learn, too late, that humans played by a different set of rules. Admiral Cale Doran stood on the bridge of Vigilant, his fingers tracing the holographic positions of every ship in the approaching fleet. "They believe they control this battlefield," he said calmly. "Let them. They won't last long in that illusion." Lieutenant Jaron Holt's eyes scanned the incoming vessels. "Their formation is tight. If they break it, they'll lose coordination." "Should we?" Cale interrupted. "No. Let them move. Precision beats impulse." At the edge of the engagement zone, human stealth frigates flitted like shadows between asteroids, deploying swarms of AI drones that disabled Dominion engines silently. Railguns on Titan-class dreadnoughts waited, aligned with surgical accuracy, their barrels tracking the key command vessels of the enemy. The first shot was quiet, almost courteous. A Dominion flagship's shield flickered, then collapsed entirely under the concentrated fire of multiple railguns. Explosions erupted inside, armor plating twisted and buckled, and Dominion officers scrambled desperately for control. Chaos spread instantly. Communications jammed. Orders arrived too late. The Dominion crescent faltered, and humans exploited every misstep with cold precision. Stealth frigates struck from unexpected angles, cutting through escort ships, while orbital bombardments targeted weapons platforms and engine cores, crippling the enemy before they could react. Lieutenant Holt whispered, "They weren't ready for this." Not for a second. Cale's voice was steady, almost meditative. They assumed superiority would protect them. They assumed fear would guide our choices. And they were wrong on both counts. On the bridge of a crippled Dominion cruiser, panic had replaced pride. Officers barked orders, but each command was countered by human anticipation. Drones appeared inside the hull without warning, neutralizing crew stations and seizing tactical data. Boarding teams in exosuits followed, moving with efficiency that left the Dominion soldiers helpless. Across the battlefield, human dreadnoughts moved as one, their immense bulk masking the precision and discipline of their strategy. Each shot, each maneuver, had been calculated long before the Dominion fleet ever thought to engage. Human ships seemed slower, almost deliberate, yet they struck with unerring accuracy, destroying enemies without hesitation, without waste. From orbital observation stations, colonists watched the unfolding spectacle with awe. Their fear had been replaced by disbelief and pride. Humanity's hidden strength, the fleet forged in secret, the patience and the cunning, had finally revealed itself. The Dominion fleet tried to regroup, but the damage was already catastrophic. Their command structures shattered, their ships crippled, their morale in freefall. Every retreat corridor had been anticipated, blocked by fast strike craft and gravitational trap. Humanity was not merely winning, they were teaching a lesson in strategy, precision, and inevitability. Cale observed the battlefield with calm satisfaction. This is what humanity does when cornered, and when we choose to fight. We do not rush blindly. We do not surrender to fear. We move and we strike decisively. Lieutenant Holt exhaled slowly. It's beautiful and terrifying. Cale's gaze lingered on the last Dominion vessels struggling to retreat. Let the galaxy watch. Let every species learn. Humanity is not reckless. Humanity is unstoppable when it protects what is its own. The stars shone coldly in the void, reflecting off shattered armor and blazing railgun trails. The Dominion had encountered the full weight of humanity's calculated fury, and they would never forget it. The Dominion fleet had been broken, yet remnants clung stubbornly to formation, hoping to salvage pride from the ruins of their arrogance. But humans did not rush. They did not panic. They moved with purpose, precision, and a terrifying patience that no Dominion commander could anticipate. Admiral Cale Doran watched from the bridge of Vigilant as his Titan-class dreadnoughts rotated slowly, aligning every weapon, every railgun, every energy projector. "Target command vessels first," he ordered. "Once they fall, the rest will crumble." Lieutenant Jaron Holt nodded, his eyes scanning the holographic battlefield. Engaging orbital disruptors. Boarding teams ready. The Dominion will have no place to regroup. The first strike was surgical. Hidden drones disabled engine cores on the remaining cruisers, leaving them adrift like statues in the void. Railgun volleys tore through armor plating, bypassing bulkheads and shields with cold efficiency. Dominion officers scrambled in vain. Every escape vector had been calculated, every maneuver anticipated. Human stealth frigates flitted through the chaos, deploying AI swarms that disabled weapons systems and communications. Boarding pods descended on crippled vessels, exosuited soldiers moving silently through corridors, neutralizing remaining crews without unnecessary violence. Intelligence modules were seized, and every tactical asset Dominion commanders relied upon was either destroyed or captured. On the planetary surface below, civilians watched from colonies, some cheering, some frozen in awe. Orbital cannons struck with terrifying precision, eliminating ground-based threats while leaving civilian structures untouched. Humanity's war was not mindless destruction. It was the execution of strategy, patience, and calculated power. A Dominion flagship, Dreadnoughts, convulsed under simultaneous bombardments from multiple Titan-class dreadnoughts. Mandibles clashed, shields flared, and alarms blared as officers attempted futile commands. Humans moved like ghosts, every strike preordained, every action anticipating the enemy's instinctive panic. "Is it beautiful?" Holt murmured, watching explosions bloom across the void. Cale's gaze remained fixed. "It is terrifying for them. And perfect for us." The Dominion fleet began to fracture. Command chains broke, morale evaporated, and officers abandoned post after post. Ships turned on each other, confused and uncoordinated. What had once been a proud armada became a scattered constellation of helpless targets. Amidst the chaos, humanity's restraint shone. Civilians were protected. Colonies untouched. No unnecessary slaughter. But the lesson was undeniable. Underestimate humans, and you would face annihilation, surgical in scope and absolute in effect. Cale's fingers hovered over the controls, pausing before the final strike. "Let them understand fully," he said softly. "Let them see that every choice they made, every assumption about us, has led them here. Humanity does not strike blindly. Humanity strikes with certainty." From hidden orbital stations to distant moons, every Dominion officer realized the same terrifying truth. They had faced not just firepower, but strategy, patience, and foresight beyond comprehension. Humanity was not an empire to be trifled with. Humanity was a force. The final Dominion command vessel fell, lights flickering as systems died. The remaining fleet limped away, shattered, humiliated, and carrying with it the undeniable proof that the humans of Earth could not be contained, deceived, or outmaneuvered. Cale exhaled slowly, his calm demeanor unbroken. "The galaxy now knows," he said. "And it will remember." Below, colonies celebrated quietly, engineers repaired damaged stations, and humans prepared for the next move, because the galaxy had learned, in no uncertain terms, the price of arrogance in the face of humanity. And somewhere in the vast emptiness of Dominion space, a new respect, or perhaps fear, began to take root. Humanity had shattered pride. Humanity had demonstrated power. And the galaxy would never look at Earth the same way again. The Dominion's shattered remnants drifted aimlessly, their pride obliterated and their ships crippled. Smoke and electrical arcs trailed from the disabled hulls, reflecting the cold light of distant stars. For the first time, a species had seen the full weight of humanity's resolve, and survived only to carry the memory. Admiral Cale Doran observed the battlefield from the Bridge of Vigilant, the holomap alive with the last sparks of Dominion resistance. Beside him, Lieutenant Jaron Holt remained silent, awe etched across his features. They thought they could intimidate us, that their numbers would matter. Cale shook his head, calm but resolute. They miscalculated. They assumed obedience equaled weakness. They assumed fear would guide our decisions. But humanity does not fight because it must. Humanity fights because it chooses to protect what is its own. On Earth and across Allied colonies, human communications systems pulsed to life. Ambassador Celine Voss activated a sector-wide broadcast, one that would echo across Dominion space and into every corner of the galaxy. Her voice was steady, resolute, and impossible to ignore. To all who doubt humanity, we were warned. We were forbidden. But do not mistake compliance for submission. We observe. We plan. And when necessary, we act. The cost of underestimating Earth is absolute. Remember this day. The broadcast was accompanied by a slow, deliberate rotation of the Titan-class dreadnoughts and stealth frigates across Dominion space. Each ship, each weapon system, each coordinated movement spoke a single, unspoken truth. Humanity is unstoppable when it chooses to act. On the battlefield, boarding teams completed their sweep. AI drones cataloged every remaining Dominion asset. Civilians were rescued from besieged colonies, engineers repaired orbital stations, and soldiers offered reassurance and guidance. The display was not one of reckless destruction, it was a demonstration of meticulous, undeniable supremacy. The Dominion fleet limped away, carrying reports of an opponent unlike any they had imagined. Across countless systems, whispers began to spread. Earth does not fight because it is forced. Earth fights because it chooses to protect its own, and the consequences are total. Kale's eyes remained fixed on the last escaping vessels. "Let the galaxy learn from this," he said softly. "Let every species understand. Humanity does not forgive lightly. Humanity does not forget easily. And when we choose, humanity prevails without hesitation." As the human fleet regrouped in hidden orbital positions and colonies celebrated quietly below, the stars themselves seemed to shine differently. A warning etched not in words but in action had been sent across the cosmos. Challenge humanity at your peril. The lessons of this day would resonate for generations. Lieutenant Holt exhaled, his awe unbroken. "We've changed everything, haven't we?" Kale allowed a rare smile. "Not changed everything," he replied. "Reminded them. Humanity has always been a force. Today, the galaxy learned its measure." Somewhere in the depths of Dominion space, a final signal was sent, faint but trembling, a message to the rest of the Empire. It carried a simple, chilling truth. Humanity is here. Humanity sees. Humanity strikes only when necessary, but the cost is absolute. And with that, the hidden fleet faded into the shadows of uncharted systems, leaving behind a galaxy forever aware of what it meant to underestimate Earth. Humanity had acted. Humanity had protected. Humanity had taught a lesson no one would ever forget.